Kinsey, you are our US expert. You would have been watching it in America. How did Prince Harry's appearance on the Stephen Colbert show go down this week?
It did not go down well. People criticizing his comedic timing, how tone deaf he was. And politically, I think it was a dangerous move. Prince Harry is living in a gig economy now, chasing paycheck after paycheck. The pay-per-view Hilton Prince, he needs Americans to buy the shows and books that fund his lifestyle. He needs people to want to see him speak at conferences. So taking a swipe at President Trump on national television, that's risky. Trump won the election, which means Harry just alienated at least half of the country. Why poke the bear when silence would have protected the brand he's trying to sell?
There was a couple of, there was a couple of jokes there. There was a couple of comedy skits. He was pretending to want to be a prince on a Hallmark movie. I mean, do you share Kinsey's thoughts on this, or was it a light-hearted, fun show rather than, politically dangerous, as Kinsey was pointing out there?
Look, I think we always have a crack at Harry for having lost his sense of humour on his way to California and being a bit of a bar humbug about everything. So I actually think it's quite nice to see. I mean, he is actually a very, very funny person, and I think it's a bit of light relief, I suppose, to see him doing that. I mean, I think Kinsey has a really good point, and he's not Trump's favourite person anyway. And don't forget, there's the whole situation over his visa, whether he lied on it. That's still not completely gone away. So I completely agree that poking the bear is frankly a stupid thing to do. But then Harry does sometimes do stupid things. I don't mind when he does silly things like this, because I think it just reminds us that he's a funny boy at heart. And actually, he looks pretty happy.
He looks pretty happy. We sometimes on this show, or sometimes Raw commentators, we talk about an old Harry, and we kind of have this fabled belief that Harry was different back in the day.
But he was different back in the day, Matt. He absolutely was. I mean, Richard and I will remember him sort of as an 18, 19-year-old, the first time we went out to Lesotho. He was good fun, witty, great comedic time, and actually didn't take himself too seriously. And I do think that has got lost in translation across the Atlantic. So I just think it's a bit refreshing to see that side of him hasn't completely gone. I do feel that it's quite contrived and not perhaps as authentic as he used to be.
Well, that's a Sussex buzzword, authentic.
Oh,
Your authentic,
God, I've done
self,
it.
Richard. Was he being
It's
authentic?
a royal household buzzword, isn't it? They all want to be authentic. I mean, I partly agree. I think he was. I thought he was funny. I enjoyed it. I agree that it looked like the old Harry, and I do think there is a difference. There's a difference, I think, since he did that therapy and was afflicted, I think, by post-traumatic stress disorder, all arising from the fact he hadn't really processed his mother's death, and so it was good to see him like that again. But also, I do think it was dangerous to make the joke about President Trump. I'm sure it was scripted for him, but they did agree when they quit their royal duties that they would uphold the values of Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah,
and
not being political being one of them.
Exactly. So I do think that was slightly dangerous territory for them.
Well, can I just say, Matt, I do think if we're talking about old Harry and new Harry has higher, he has some very high expectations for the people he allows in his life, and he demands loyalty. And that's one of the biggest complaints we've seen from him in the last 5 years. He didn't feel like the British royal family supported him and his wife. Then why do you go sit on Stephen Colbert's desk and crack jokes on that stage when Stephen Colbert last year was making jokes at Catherine and William's expense, accusing William of cheating on his wife on national television in America? Colbert never apologized for the accusation. He apologized that he poked fun at Catherine during a difficult time in her life. But that's not an example of loyalty, Matt. In fact, if I were Prince William, I would be absolutely livid that Harry is platforming this guy who, by the way, is out of a job come May 2026. His show's been canceled and he blames Donald Trump.
It's a very interesting point, Kinsey, because I remember that horrendous time when there was so much, almost like online bullying about the Princess of Wales that Stephen Colbert kind of dived into. But also, there's Kim Kardashian. And, Harry and Meghan did go to Kim Kardashian's or the family birthday party just a couple of weeks. Do you think this is accidental by the Sussexes or deliberate, or are they poking another bear, not just Trump, but also William?
I did feel like he was lashing out a little bit, and I felt like the Oprah Winfrey interview was lashing out. When he doesn't get the attention he wants from his family, he goes to the media. He goes and sits down with BBC. He sits down with Oprah Winfrey. And he knew that what he was doing in calling Donald Trump, the current president, a king, and saying, "Oh, I thought you guys elected kings around here." He knew that that could potentially negatively affect all of the hard work that the royal family's recently done in their relationship with Donald Trump, that incredible state visit. Keir Starmer, who can't stand Trump, getting along with Trump thanks to the king stepping in with that soft diplomatic power. I think he can be a liability because he can be so unpredictable sometimes.
It's really interesting, guys, because I saw this as just a comedy, funny skit. I just watched it and saw this funny. Now we hear the American point of view that actually this may have backfired for Harry. One of the questions that I think I'd like to ask is why did he do it?
I really don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Kinsey, he's not promoting anything over there at the moment, is he? There doesn't seem to be any reason for him doing it.
No. Maybe just
he was on his way home from a $500 a ticket Hilton conference. You know, he was, I mean, I wondered if he was trying to distract from that awkward pay-per-view Prince event at the Hilton in Toronto.
It's often they just almost, sounds dreadful, they like to be seen. They like to appear on things, and sometimes it doesn't need to actually be anything that they're promoting or anything like that.
And certainly nothing is done coincidentally. You know, everything is done with thought. It's quite deliberate. And I think, you mentioned the Kardashian party, and the one thing that just strikes me as so evident, particularly when you see William and Kate all over the front pages today at the state visit, is this absolute polarization between these two couples of Harry and Meghan quintessentially as celebrities, not even celebrity royals, celebrities, and William and Kate being royals. And actually, that's very useful for William and Kate.
We'll get on to a little bit of state visit later. We'll talk about that in a bit of depth. We also saw Harry appear on the final, is it the final? Is it the last ever? The holiday special, Meghan's last With Love Meghan episode that was screened. Seemed to be filmed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you think it's over now? Do you think is this the last one? It's gone?
I think she'll do similar shows to that. Whether she does them with Netflix or somebody else, I don't know. But that's her thing. She's gone back to what she loved doing when she was still an actress before she got engaged to Harry. And I think I'm in a very small minority amongst royal journalists because I actually quite enjoyed it.
I think a small minority amongst all viewers as well.
Well, possibly. I think if you're a Harry and Meghan fan, you will love it. If you don't like them, you will hate it.